What's up, party people?
Yo,
What's going on? All right.
we are back with Ridge Racers, or Ridge Racer 2, as they called it here.
Well, it's what they would have called it here, except that it never came out here
Oh yeah, you're right.
until now. Yeah, so this was Ridge Racer or Ridge Racer 2 for the PSP. We're playing it on the PS5. Love this game. This game did not come out in America because essentially it's the exact same game that came out before, but with additional tracks and some things changed up. I would guess Bandai Namco didn't, or Namco Bandai, I forgot here, also is when they changed the names in two places. Because it was Namco Bandai here and Bandai Namco in Japan.
Yeah, now it's just Bamco all around.
Yeah. Anyway, they didn't think, and we'll do some arcades.
They didn't think America would go for it.
Yeah, just as a simple expansion. Because that's all it was. It was basically a disc expansion. And at that time, I feel like people weren't going to go for
It does kind of suck to have to buy a whole... I mean, it's not like they didn't do that a bunch anyway, like especially PS1-wise, but CDs are almost, I won't say free to produce, but it's like CDs are so offensively cheap, you could do that.
I don't know. I mean, CDs are, but...
And it's like...
I don't know if the UMD itself was.
No, that's what I was getting at, is that the UMD is still a proprietary media. So it's more, it's like, it would probably be a $40 release instead of a $20 budget release with more shit, like it would have got a PS.
Fair.
And it's like, yeah, America wouldn't, be like, no, it's the same game with a little more shit for the same price. Fuck you.
But what they added in this one is that they added a lot more tracks from the base game. More tracks from Ridge Racer 4. I think they added another 5 track. Anyway, but yeah, they added a new Ridge Racer Revolution track. We should play those.
You know what, the old ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cool story. Back when I actually worked at GameStop, there was a regular that was really cool that came in, and he and I both loved Ridge Racer, and he had imported the Japanese version. No, he imported the European version, so that was in English.
Oh,
It was, yeah,
okay.
because it did come out in Europe. And let me play it, and it was just like, oh, this is so cool. Like, this would be the ultimate compilation of the original Ridge Racer, Rage Racer, Ridge Racer Revolution,
L4.
and Ridge Racer 5. Like, it's basically like a large chunk of those levels.
Okay.
Minus 5. I can't remember exactly how many tracks from 5. 5 is like one giant city with like multiple tracks on it. Kind of like how all of these kind of project themselves to be like one giant city, where you'll get 3 men up with 3 different paths.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think they just picked like one phone.
You're like, you can have this.
Yeah.
And then what was on the 3DS one? Because that's another kind of compilation.
Yeah, so it's funny. I initially stayed away from the 3DS version because I thought it was just an updated version of the 64 one, which was what Ridge Racer DS was.
Yeah.
It was just an updated version of the 64, which also was not done by Namco. It was done by Intelligent Systems.
Intelligent systems.
So I stayed away from it for a while, and then I finally decided to pick up a copy and play it. And I was like, oh shit, this is like Ridge Racer 6, 7, and, new tracks from tracks that they share between Ridge Racer for or Vita, sorry.
Okay.
Because they both had some like desert tracks and stuff. It was like really cool. And I think they did reduce some of the Ridge Racer 64 tracks for it.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, it's another good compilation because it has tracks from 6 and 7 in it. So if like Bandai could just release this and that, we could basically have all the Ridge Racers into games.
Okay. But God forbid, you know.
God forbid.
I mean, at least they did this. Like, PSP games are really easy to fucking HD, just like PS2 shit. So,
Yeah.
it's helpful.
Well, I mean, and look, you know, I do say God forbid that they would release it again, but for me, to be lucky that they're even allowing these games to be resold anyway. I mean, if they're not going to make a new one, at least they're allowing these old ones to be accessed.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to. It's like, if you want them, they're just going to pirate them anyway, so may as well make them money if people are willing to spend it.
Yeah, like Namco's figured it out. Why is like all these other companies allergic to making money?
I don't know. I imagine sometimes that little bit of effort is honestly even too much.
Yeah.
Or it's all licensing rights. I think there was a lot of, especially PS1 and early PS2 era, where like they were just licensing music and not even thinking about, you know, the fact that, oh, we might want to re-release this game or, you know, own the complete rights to it in the future.
Yeah. Especially probably back then, all those prices were dirt cheap. Now they're gonna like, no, we want millions of dollars.
Well, apparently the way they have to license music changed.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, because like I remember that for TV, they were bitching about it. They're like, yeah, this song, you know, I used to be able to pay fucking $1,000 and I could have it in my episode, but now I gotta, you know, go through this and this and this, and it's, oh, that's fucking insanity. I mean, I want musicians to get paid, don't get me wrong, but, you know, let your shit out there, people.
Right. I don't want to have to resort to my super legal PS2.
You know, at this point, not to incriminate myself any further in anything.
Right. Well, we already blew our cover with Godzilla PS3.
You know what?
I mean, it's only Ray.
No, like legit though, if you're not gonna give people a way to keep playing something that you want to like say doesn't age, you know, which some games, you know, like at the end of the day, it's like it's still fun to play, is all it really matters. But yeah, it's like if you don't want to keep it available, people will find ways to get it.
Right. Hey, Rebirth is updated.
Right. Nice. Did you start to integrate stuff or?
No. So I thought, it's funny, I thought I bought Intergrade, but I actually got Intermission. So
Isn't it a fun thing?
No. There's an in-between.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right.
So, once I'm pretty much done with the No More Heroes series, then I'll bother with that. Take a nice break from Final Fantasy VII World.
It's fair. Not set.
So, also, this was the game that convinced me, or not necessarily this version, but Ridge Racer PSP was the game that convinced me to get a PSP. Like, I was probably going to get it anyway. And actually, for the first time, I was actually leaning more towards it. Like, for handhelds, I usually always leaned more Nintendo anyway. So I
wanted the DS ready. PSP did make me question,
Yeah.
I still got a DS first, but
Oh, that was a bad turn. I actually ended up getting the PSP first because I saw the video for this.
nice.
And I was like, I have to play Ridge Racer on the go with graphics like this. And I'm glad I did because we went on a school trip to Embry-Riddle, and the PSP was perfect for that.
It was my best friend that
It was. Just because that bus ride took forever.
It was boring as shit.
Yeah. Play Ridge Racer, played Ape Escape, On the Loose. Now that's, I don't want them to also put that on here on PlayStation Plus.
I mean, they're doing enough damn merch for it lately. They should re-release the fucking games.
Well, I mean, the first one is available.
That's it though, right? Just
Just the first one. Actually, I think the second one is on PlayStation, PS4, like Classics or something like that.
yeah.
I haven't honestly looked. But I at least know the first one is there. But it would be cool if they also put the PSP version on there because it's completely remade. You know, with better fakes. They redid the voices.
Oh, so it is a remake of the first one.
It is a remake, yeah. Yeah, and it just looks better. And I wouldn't say it has, like, the controls just worked better for the PSP, honestly.
Even two analogs.
Yeah, I think it just worked better, like, overall, honestly. I would, if I could play that version on the big screen, without having to pull out the,
Cables.
yeah, then I'd play that version more. Using the right analog stick was cool and it was novel, but it was kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah. What does the PSP use? Just buttons?
Yeah. So instead of using the right stick, because of how it would work on the original game, the face buttons would choose your particular tool,
Okay.
and then you use the right analog stick to control it. On the PSP version, since there is no right analog stick, you basically just use the same face button that the weapon is equipped to use it. So if you mash X, then he'll swing. If you have anything aside to X, then he'll swing.
So it trades the gimmick of control of each weapon just for the sake of usability. It ends up being better for it. Which, you know, it happens, people, but we wouldn't have got that controller without the game, so
Yeah.
let's go fight it.
And I the using the raft with only one analog stick is so much easier than having to
Oh god,
the board. Yeah.
those games that do that. That shit hurt your thumbs. And dude, my fucking left hand is far more useless than my right, so I can move shit quicker. And yeah, then you just end up fucking, you know, flopping in a circle.
Same. Like playing Normal Heroes of 1 on the Switch, there are times where you gotta kind of do a dual challenge and you gotta spin the right analog stick, and it's just so hard to do sometimes. And fighting Shinobu, like, and getting that particular timing right, she'll do a lot of damage if you miss that.
Yeah.
And well, gosh, it was just tough. I mean, it only took me like 5 retries. You know, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, trying to get that analog rotation just right. I'm excited to play the second one when I get there. That's the one that I know the least amount.
Yeah.
I mean, I have it without for the Wii, but I kind of stopped playing. I was around the time I stopped kind of really using the Wii.
Yeah, that was pretty late.
And I just kind of stopped. I didn't bother to pick it up. And sure, I had the Wii U to try it with, but that was also another system that I kind of just stopped using after Xenoblade Chronicles X, Cross, whichever one it is.
I have to pull out freaking Nintendo Land again at some point. That shit was fun. I don't care what anyone says. Tech demo or not. Some of those games were good.
Nintendo Land?
Yeah. It wasn't the pack. Should have been a pack-in. Well, it was the pack-in with the deluxe one. But it was like 12 mini games, and like it was kind of the best showcase of the asynchronous, gameplay, like using HUD and the TV. And had this like hide and seek kind of it was Luigi's Mansion, but it played like Pac-Man Versus. Ooh, that's fucking stomping everybody. I was pretty good at that one. I'm not that good at Pac-Man Versus, so anything happened. This effect is really pretty.
Yeah, right?
It's playing Sea of Stars still over here, so I'm watching both.
Yeah, the little ripples in the water are just pretty.
No, this is. It's pretty that like they have different layers of effects that like should work, but they're like give your imagination a little go. A 16-bit game could have looked this good,
Right, yeah.
and it's like, well, it couldn't have, but it's not. I've learned. It looked like in my mind.
Yeah.
No, I think the best example of that for me is the fucking PS4, PS5's version of the PSP version of Parappa, because they went over it with like HD fucking vector art instead of the old sprites. So I'm like, oh yeah, this looks exactly what it looked like in my mind as a kid. Like, because when you play it now, obviously you can see the grain of the sprites. They look like sprites.
Yeah.
But on a fucking shitty CRT, it just looked like a cartoon. And then with the HD ones, it looks like that again. Except they cut the word Frosty, and it's really awkward. It's copyrighted by Wendy's, because they use it in the context of a chocolate shake.
Oh.
And he says chocolate Frosty, because it's funny, I brought it up on Twitter. I was like, what the hell do they have to, like, who owns the word shake? And then someone's like, no, it's Frosty, is what he says. And so I went and put the PS1 one in, and I was like, fuck, he's right. I can't believe I forgot something.
Damn, yeah. Man, that's crazy.
Like, thanks, Wendy's.
It's not good for it. Should have called it a Frost tea. Yep, in the script it says Frost tea.
Right. At least I didn't end up looking too bad. That's a pretty sick scar he's got.
Yeah.
I'm so pissed my brother had this fucking sick-ass scar after his car accident and it faded. Like, we specifically told the hospital staff they couldn't put any, like, Moderna or whatever the bullshit is that, like, lightens your scars. He's like, nah, I'm gonna keep that one. He's like, that's the most anime-looking shit I've ever seen. And then it faded on its own, so lose.
No squalls. No squall scar. No.
I want to replay that again. I said, I'm gonna play anything PS1. I'm gonna finally get to goddamn Xenogears.
I keep telling myself that every time that I'm going to sit down and get through it again, and I just never do.
It's like, when we're committing to monoliths that you're gonna have to commit for a while.
Right.
That said, Xenoblade 3, I'm still... That's how good that fucking game was.
The great when I played. Well, now that you convinced me to get the definitive edition and not just, like, sit on the two versions that I can't... Well, I guess I can still play the 3DS version. Do I really want to pull out my 3DS for that?
Exactly.
and play it on that tiny ass screen.
Well, and it has the definitive one has that extra chopper.
That's true.
Yeah, you need like.
So yeah, so I'll get that. So then that's where I'll start. I'll get through Xenoblade 1. Work my way, I'll start over with 2, because I started playing that one and never finished it. So I'll start over 2, and then I'll start 3.
Just remember, play 2 on easy.
Play 2 on easy.
It's like, it's not super hard, but it's still, you know, like, it's not hard at all really, but it's monolith, so it's still going through enough bullshit where you like feel like you're learning shit.
System after system after system.
Yeah.
After system.
And honestly, like, ease, just since it is a little more action based, it just kind of slows it a little, I think, more than anything.
I think, I mean, from what I've seen, because I haven't seen Xenoblade 3 in person, but from what I've seen, Xenoblade 2 could really use the power of an HD version.
I
think it was blurry.
Yes, but I've played it mostly handheld, so it helped being played handheld for sure. No, that's one of the things everyone's laughing about, because they're saying that the Switch 2 will probably be around a PS4 Pro in terms of power. People are like, oh, so a 10-year-old system, and everyone's like, well, look at what the PS4 can do, first of all, like, and they're still fucking releasing games for the motherfucker, so it's not that big of a difference, first of all. And they're like, with what Monolith made happen on the Switch, think of what they can do with PS4 Pro level fucking, you know.
And I think that's Microsoft set up themselves really nicely with the Series S, because it's also just about the power of a PS4 Pro. And so all these Switch games that are going to be optimized for that low-end power, just going to be optimized for the Series S that much better. But you can already see games nowadays being much more optimized and better for it.
I mean, and it's like, as much as people want to complain that holds shit back, like, no, it forces developers to be better at their job. Like, you know, hey, you don't have to design for 15 systems anymore. You're just kind of doing the same thing you do on a PC, where it's, you know,
Slightly out.
Well, it's real easy to say that as, you know, not a game developer, but
You know, it's someday. Yes, you know, Tiger and I have been talking about it.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
easier and easier these days.
Right? He's working on his music. I'm still working on my art, you know.
Okay, let's check the replay.
You do it. It's about time and money, then.
Right.
I'll do one more race party, people, because I forgot to set a timer, so I don't even know how long we've been going.
Oh, shit. Okay.
All right,
One more race.
one more race.
Get ready to race.
Get ready.
Oh yeah.
I also love that the loading screen was the same size as the little PSP disc on the back of the UMD drive. And I'm like, that's such a cool touch.
No, Namco had their fucking menus down. They still do. Like, they're good, but, like, anything in the 2000s from them is just fucking gorgeous menu-wise. And they did it all with vector art. Well, most of it with vector art. So, like, anything console-wise, they've been able to do really pretty ports of, which is nice. Like that fucking Mr. Driller they threw on the Switch. Yeah, that was on the GameCube originally, but it looks fucking crisp. Like, they could have released it for the Switch. And everyone's like, yeah, it's just because it's all vector art. They didn't have to do anything to it. Good for that.
Yeah, I need to be better at working. Well, I don't create in vector, I convert it into vector. I need to be better about creating in vector. It's just I hate, like, it's just oh shit.
Whatever, just do it. Whatever makes it easier for you.
Still, And like using Sketchbook Pro and then moving it over to Illustrator to vectorize it works for me.
Yeah.
Trying to draw directly into Illustrator was a pain in the ass. Now I know that Adobe now has a program for that called Fresco.
Did they make it in between?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's like, I got decent at Photoshop, but I fucking struggled with Illustrator. I hated it.
The problem was that Illustrator and Photoshop were obviously made by different teams. There are programs as huge as they are, they're not made by the same team. But they used the same icons, but they didn't talk to each other about what all the icon behavior should do. So every program they did something different, even though it looks the same.
That's fair.
They finally kind of fixed that. They've given like new feature-specific icons and kind of like standardized, like, okay, you know, you click the mouse here.
This means lasso, asshole.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, black arrow is main selection, white arrow is alt selection. Like, all right, so
Well, that's good at least.
but yeah, I need to check out that Fresco program. But first of all, I don't think in vector like art yet. So I'm been experimenting. So you guys,
It's funny because it would work really well with your art style too.
do you think so?
The way like you're like kind of free flowing with those like circular lines, especially on clothing. Yeah, because then you could just take any given line and resize it. You know, like you're like, you know, oh, I don't really like the way that curve looks of that sleeve. Yeah, it's a real easy.
Yeah.
But again, it's that learning curve. You know.
Yeah. And like, I know how to do I know how to do renders in Illustrator, but again, that's not directly drawing. Yeah, I'm still working with my mouse and various layers and filters and shit.
I know. I've been interesting thing in Fresco. Frescos are a pain in the ass.
Yeah, actual fresco.
Now I like watch this fucking bullshit about the Last Supper and how it has to be, you know, how the room has to be so humidity controlled and this and that, and they can only let so many people see it a day because the fucking fresco technique that he used was so shitty that it just like started deteriorating almost immediately.
Oh man.
And it's like, well, I guess you don't find new mediums without that, but you know, it's kind of sucks when you make, you know, the world's greatest masterpieces off something that's just gonna rot away.
Right. Well, party people, that's an art thought. Thank you for coming for Art History 102.
With that Ridge Racer 103.
Ridge Racer 103. All right, thanks for the people for joining and just hanging out while we raced around.
Bye.
Later.